Beautiful, like you can see everything in front of you. This is the actual view towards Georgetown, as proposed in plan submitted. So if you were standing from the two wonderful iconic towers, you actually look towards Georgetown, this will be all that's in front of you. This is Jesselton Houses, and this is a car park block with housing on top of it. If any of you have actually read some of the newspaper releases about a month ago, Nazrin Siraji, who is the French female architect that they brought in, describes how she's going to plant a forest of trees between the Jesselton villas and the tower blocks. And she says there is 150 meters between the tower blocks and the Jesselton properties. So during the hearing, Patrick Lim was asked, where is your 150 meters? Between the Jesselton houses and the first buildings is 5.6 meters. And 5.6 meters, as anybody in the building trade will tell you, is what we call a bomba excess, which means no trees can be planted anyway. The 150 meters, Patrick Lim then stood up at council and drew a line across. If you imagine Dato' Kanishi's house is here, he draws a line including Dato' Kanishi's own garden, and he draws a line across from here to the first tower block. That's 149 meters. This is the kind of deception that I think, that's why all of us are so upset. Show us the real PGCC. There are a view towards Batu Kantong, that means standing here at your junction corner and looking towards Batu Kantong, this will be what you would see. From the Scotland Road, Brook Road junction, this is what you would see with Batu Kantong behind you and the two iconic towers. There's a 5-story podium, and then from this, it varies from 12 to 37. Which means it's like having like 35 comtas between here and Batu Kantong. View from Scotland Road. This was our poor man's model before this model. Basically, all the people who are affected, which are people like you, who should have received objection letters for adjoining properties, would have gone to council, asked to see, can we see a model? Can we see, what we are objecting to? And council says, I'm sorry, we don't have a model, because the developer did not submit a model. So we had to build our own model so that we could see what we were actually objecting to. This is Penang's answer to KL Twin Towers. This is from the brochure. We're told that this is what Penang wants, what Penang needs. Penang needs two iconic towers to rival KL. Note again, all the question marks are where are the other 37, where are the other 35 blocks. It shows a completely clear view all the way to the city. This is what has been designed, and this is what you will see at the Queensway Mall exhibition. These two wonderful, people have called them different things, twisted snakes, whatever it is, but this is what is supposed to be what we wanted. Okay, we've shown you here, total site area is 259 acres. That includes all the hill land. The prevailing density is 6 units to an acre on that site. They're all here, that means all the development up here, right up to McAllister Road, the current Robert Cox development, Gauchun Lies development, everything is 6 to an acre and 2 stories. What is being applied for is 37 units to an acre and 42 stories. There are going to be 6,933 units applied for, and they've calculated it using the hill land. To us, hill land is non-developable land, therefore it should not be used in your calculations. If you take away the hill land, you'd end up with 187 acres only, not 256 acres, but they have used the whole 256 acres to calculate their density. Every developer, if there are developers here amongst you, you all know that for any development beyond a certain size, you need to provide low and medium cost units. This is normally 30% of your development. 30% of your development of 6,933 is a minimum 2,300. As of even over the weekend when Patrick Lim launched his project, he says again he's providing 1,334, which is 1,000 less. And you are only allowed to move it to another site when there's no place on your own site. In this case, there's plenty of space on the site, but he doesn't have to build the low and medium cost on the site. Obviously, it's too expensive. He's being allowed to move it to rifle range. There's one empty piece on Rifle Range that council had earlier on decided they were going to build car parks because there are insufficient car parks. He's now eyeing that to put his low and medium cost there. That's one issue, why, and why is he being allowed to do that? The second question is, that will result in a minimum of 15 to 20 blocks being built at Rifle Range. Nobody has talked about traffic to be created from Rifle Range. The horrendous traffic problems for all of us. Quote from the brochure, easing, absorbing and redistributing. Increased traffic from these extra blocks at Rifle Range as well. I show you here, those of you who have that can actually look at it, but this is what, there are three, the J1, J2 and J3 as they have proposed it. The one that concerns us all, I'll show you is J3 here. J1 proposed to construct an underpass along Jalan Masjid Negeri under the Batu Lanchang Road. So this is Convent Green Lane, this is coming along and they want to build an underpass. Here is it, underpass goes down and comes up. We ask, who is proposing this? Is it the government or the developer? Obviously it's the developer. But who is going to be paying for this? It's going to be us. The developer is not going to be building an underpass in front of Convent Green Lane. It's going to be the taxpayer. J2, proposal to increase the number of approach lanes at the Aitam Road Masjid. This is the mosque. They are going to propose that this is increased. They're proposing that a tunnel be built coming out from Brook Road. A flyover be built coming from there across this, entering the site. So there's only, as far as we can see, two roads coming in and out of the site, and then Little Brook Road, which they say they're not extending. And then they're proposing that the PORR at the back. And they tell us no trees will be cut. How can you not cut any trees while building all this? And can you imagine during construction of this, what's going to happen here? It's right here. It's a stone's throw away from where you are. This is their overall plan. Is the taxpayer paying to make this project viable? This yellow line shows a 3-lane road widening southbound. That means going into PFS, 3 lanes, all those lovely trees, all the way to Hamilton Road. This is the PORR. This is where we are now. Sorry, this is the mosque, and this is where we are. This is the site. I don't think questions should be asked of us here, but questions should be asked of the developer. These are the developer's proposals. We've been told carbon zero. Carbon zero, for those of you who are interested, you can get onto your internet and look for carbon zero cities, look for a development called ZBED, which is something that's been done in England. It is completely a copy. Actually, all carbon zero cities talk about is actually about reducing, it's actually a consciousness raising program to tell people how they should cut carbon emissions. 30% of all our carbon emissions come from cars. The rest, from air conditioners, etc., etc. The only carbon zero, if you look through their brochure itself, they are putting in solar panels. We all know solar panels, and they have wind turbines to try and create electricity. But 60,000 cars are estimated to be moving in and out of a project of this size. The project itself is providing and building 27,000 car parks. Can you imagine the amount of carbon that's going to come out, unless those cars are going to be electric cars or solar powered cars, which obviously they're not. So we're looking at 27,000 car parks and 60,000 car movements.